This presentation will continue to build on our previous website design presentations and provide you with the in-depth secrets behind the design and layout techniques that produce lead-generating and money-making websites. All of us know that in every area of business, the pros have figured out certain advanced techniques that no one else is even aware of. There are professional gamblers who can win in Vegas every day they choose to play. There are surgeons who seem to have an almost magical ability to repair the human body in a way that other surgeons can't seem to match. The exact same things hold true when it comes to online marketing. For example, only one of the key components for any website is the ability of any prospect visiting the site to be able to quickly and easily navigate through the various sections of your site. To do this, they add an assortment of buttons for prospects to click on so they can learn more about what you do. These navigation buttons are typically labeled products, services, about us, contact us, and so on. But consider what you already know about your prospects. They don't buy based on logic. They buy based on emotion. They respond to hot buttons, and they're looking for the solution to those hot buttons. So, how does giving them information about us solve their hot button issues? In essence, it doesn't. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying those buttons don't have a place on your website, but do they really belong in the prime real estate of the top of the sidebar on your site? Are there other labels we could attach to the more prominently displayed navigation buttons that would serve our objectives of capturing leads and closing more sales much better? Here's the problem as we see it. The typical navigation buttons on your websites are all about the business, not the prospect. And here lies an opportunity for you to learn some advanced techniques that can add a competition-crushing element to your website, an element that will enable you to dominate your competitors. In this presentation, we want to uncover for you several advanced techniques that will make your navigation buttons all about your prospects, not you or your business. This adds to the compelling nature of your website and will make you more revenue and profit in the end. Previously, we looked at the differences between a website and a landing page and defined the appropriate times and situations to use each one. In this presentation, let's explore several advanced techniques that will completely separate your website from your competition and help you create a competition-demolishing website that actually gets results. So let's get started. First, it's very important for you to remember that your website will only appeal to your target customer. It should attract them and pre-qualify them at the exact same time. Here's an exercise you should do that will align you with your target customer and help you create a navigation bar for your website that will facilitate your prospect's decision-making process. This is an exercise that requires you to step out of your mindset as the business owner and into the mindset of your target customer. You want to physically position yourself in their shoes, and that means you must feel the way they feel and experience the exact same emotions they're going through. Don't just go through the motions of this exercise. You must experience what your prospects are experiencing. Do this, and you will create a market-dominating website. Close your eyes and imagine your target customer. Why do they want or need what you sell? What is the biggest problem, fear, frustration, or concern they're experiencing in their lives right now that has them so emotionally motivated that they're physically searching online for a solution to their pain? Here's an example. You own a daycare facility. Every day, young mothers drop off their kids at your daycare. In many cases, the child begins to cry. They don't want mommy to leave them again. Remember, this is a daily ritual all daycare moms go through. So put yourself in mom's shoes. You're that daycare mom, and you're dropping little Susie or Johnny off at daycare. They immediately start crying, sobbing, yelling, "Mommy, mommy, please come back. Please don't leave me." Mom walks out and gets into her car and begins driving to work. What is she feeling right now? Truthfully, she's crying harder than her child is. She feels terrible. She is experiencing anger, frustration, guilt, remorse, rage, resentment, disappointment, and shame. Even though she's a typical working mom and probably one of the best moms in the world, right now, she feels like the worst mom on the planet. As she drives to work, she is constantly asking herself if her child ever settled down. Did they stop crying, or are they still upset? If they are still upset, is the staff doing everything they can to make the child feel better? Are they treating her child with love and care, or are they yelling and screaming at the child to shut up? Mom's gone, get over it. Now, I doubt there is a daycare in the country that would ever really say that to a child, but as human beings, we always assume the worst will happen in any situation. And this negative thinking doesn't stop once mom gets to work either. Throughout her entire day, she has a knot in her stomach and she's constantly thinking about her child. The reason she feels this way is obvious. She has no idea what's taking place at her daycare. Is her child receiving the best care? Is the staff paying close attention to them? Are other kids picking on her kid? Is her child eating a good lunch? Does the staff play with her child, read to her child, or do they stick the kid in front of the TV and make them watch Barney all day? As the owner of this daycare, you know this is exactly how she's feeling. You also know that if she could actually be with her child throughout the day, that most of these negative feelings would disappear, but she has to work to help support her family. So how can she ever be with her child throughout the day? As the owner of this daycare, you decide to get creative and innovate your daycare by installing WebWatch, a multiple camera surveillance system that's easily and inexpensively installed throughout your daycare and tied directly into your website so parents can log in anytime they choose and physically observe their child. This provides massive peace of mind for any parent. When they physically see their child playing, smiling, and having fun, their stress, fears, and anxieties immediately disappear. It's almost as though a giant weight is lifted off their shoulders. Not only that, but just knowing they can look in on their child at any moment of the day has the added advantage of holding the staff accountable for their actions as well. The staff never knows when a parent may be watching, which places added incentive on the staff to treat their kids with special care and attention. So, if you were this daycare owner and you were building a website, do you think it would be important to let parents know about the extraordinary effort you put forth on their behalf? Do you think there is one parent on this planet who, upon witnessing the WebWatch system in action, wouldn't be immediately compelled to enroll their child in your daycare? But consider the typical website, the one any top-notch web design company would build for you. Web designers do an excellent job of making a website look great, but unfortunately, the vast majority of them know nothing about marketing. The end result is a great-looking website that doesn't generate leads or make you money. But you now know the most effective format to use for your website. The headline and subheadline are placed at the very top. A 1 to 3 minute video on the left side below the subheadline, and your offer box to the immediate right of the video. Once you understand the principles behind this specific format, you can provide guidance to your website designer to ensure they follow this proven format when they create your site. But as they build your website, they will want to give your prospects a way to navigate the various sections of your site. So they add an assortment of buttons for them to click on to learn more about what you do. These navigation buttons are typically labeled products, services, about us, and contact us. But wait, do prospects really care anything about us? Or do they primarily care more about themselves and what you can do to solve their biggest problems, fear, frustration, or concern? Here's the problem. The typical navigation buttons on websites are all about the business, not the prospect. And here is where you can add a competition crushing element to your website, an element that will enable you to dominate your competitors, make your navigation buttons all about your prospects, not you or your business. Here's an exercise that will help you create the right navigation buttons to use on your website. The key here is to forget about the features of your product or service. Instead, get emotional. Close your eyes and reflect on how you help your target customer to first solve their biggest problem, fear, frustration, or concern. Second, get exactly what they want. And third, improve their life and or their results. Then use this form in your workbook to write down your thoughts for each category. I solve my target customer's biggest problem, fear, frustration, or concern by, and go into specific detail to explain what you do and how that overcomes their hot button issues. I make sure my target customer gets everything they want by Here is where you highlight the innovations you have created for your business. Focus on what it is they want instead of what they need. Remember that wants are based on emotion. Needs are based on logic. I help my target customer improve their life and or results by, and spell out the benefits they will receive from the solution you provide. When it comes to daycare, most daycare websites never convey to their prospects why they must stop everything they're doing and focus on the critically important message that will forever solve the biggest problem facing the daycare parents. In our example, our daycare owners need to evoke the feelings that any mom visiting their site has found the daycare of her dreams. When the daycare owner writes out their responses to these three critical questions, their forms might say something like this. I solve my target customer's biggest problem, fear, frustration, or concern by providing a solution to the negative emotional feelings all daycare parents experience. This is a solution that provides them with tremendous peace of mind. It relieves all stress, guilt, and frustration and allows them to hold the daycare and the staff accountable for the experience and treatment their child receives during daycare hours. Here's how they might answer the second question. I make sure my target customer gets everything they want by innovating my daycare and giving my parents the ability to physically see their child whenever they want, from work or home. Parents experience negative emotions because they never know what is really happening to their child at daycare. They want to know that everything is great, that their child is happy, enjoying themselves, and being well cared for by the staff. Here's how they might answer the final question. I help my target customer improve their life and or results by creating a daycare environment where parents know for sure that their child is being treated as if their child were our own child. They know we understand their fears and concerns and have gone the extra mile to make sure they never have to worry about their child again. With this peace of mind firmly established, the parents can devote their full attention to their job performance and receive as much satisfaction and joy from their career as they do with their kids. Now take the paragraphs you have just completed, highlight all the emotional wording throughout, and rewrite your answers into groups of 1 to 3 words, but never more than 3. You want to identify only the 1 to 3 words that are most important. Those 1 to 3 words will become the key words and phrases that form the building blocks for your navigation buttons, your navigation bars, and even your headlines. Let's work through our daycare example. First, we highlight or circle the emotion-laden words we come up with, and then we combined those emotions into 1 to 3 word groups such as Group 1, peace of mind. Group 2, guilt-free experience. Group 3, staff accountability. I then do the exact same thing to my next statement. Group 1, your child's security. Group 2, see for yourself. Group 3, us accountable. The final group looks like this. Group 1, unmatched child care. Group 2, extra mile promise. Group 3, stress-free parents. If you're a member of a mastermind group, if you have a partner, or if you have a team of associates or employees, this method works great if you take the time to brainstorm together. Or you can do it alone if you're a small business owner. The key is to just do it. Remember, physically place yourself into the exact situation your ideal client typically finds themselves in when they want or need what you sell. Once you complete this list, look them all over together and select the 3, 4, or 5 you feel will help you build a compelling case as you educate your prospects on the innovations you have created for your daycare. Innovations that should convince any daycare parent that they would be an absolute fool to enroll their child in any other daycare but yours. Put them all together so you can see them as a group, and then highlight the ones you feel are the most compelling hot buttons from an ideal client's emotional point of view. These words are now the building blocks for your navigation buttons and headlines. Stop using the typical all about me navigation buttons typically labeled products, services, about, and contact, and focus those buttons on the wants and needs of your target customer. Our daycare owner's new navigation buttons might say something like this: guilt-free experience, your child's security, extra mile promise, and see for yourself. Now a prospect is engaged. If they click on your child's security, you will know all about their psychology and motivation, and you can very carefully track this in your analytics. This is almost like having your own private cost-free Google AdWords campaign. So what